It's your boy Corey.
It's your boy John.
And welcome back to the Artistry Drop, where we feature stories from today's rising artists.
Yes, sir.
If you like being inspired, don't miss out on our weekly episodes, so be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification to be notified when we drop new episodes.
Let's go.
Guys, our guest today is a content creator from the Jersey Shore who embraces her flaws on and offline. The New York Post claims she can't get a boyfriend due to her fake teeth. Guys, please welcome Lily Magno. Oh, shoot.
Yeah, he's done. My grandpa is drunk already.
There we go.
He hasn't ate today, guys. So.
Lily, appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, appreciate you. It's been a minute trying to get you on the show, but I'm glad you're finally here with us and, get into kind of, knowing you a little bit better. Yeah, appreciate you. But before we do, guys, let's get into the drink of the day.
All right, the drink of the day is, we just got done with the holidays by the time this episode airs, but this is a little holiday drink that I came up myself. I'm known for my Shirley Temples.
Yes.
So this is a holiday Shirley Temple. I'm just gonna call it the Artistry Temple.
Hey, that's
because it has.
And I've asked you many times to get Shirley Temple back on the show.
Yes, and I've been trying to do different variations. We had a vodka one, we have a tequila one. Today is a vanilla vodka Shirley Temple, and it also has instead of using Sprite or Canada Dry, which is like ginger ale, I actually use apple cider.
Oh.
So it has a little
That's better. Apple cider.
It has a little sparkling to it, and topped it with some grenadine, and then garnished it with a little rosemary on top.
Hey,
the Artistry Temple.
Let's go. Take
cheers.
your water. Take your water, and let's just cheers.
We got cheers to a good podcast.
Cheers to a good podcast.
Let's go.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely, I can taste the apple cider in there.
Yeah, the apple cider hides it, so I added a little bit extra.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Alcohol for us.
What do you think about it over there?
I think it's pretty good.
Good, right?
There you go.
Fire.
Let's go.
Hey, well, we got that drink of the day. Hopefully, we have that again because that shit's actually really good.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. But you still got to bring back the other Shirley Temple.
Oh, the dirty Shirley.
That
Andre O'Hare
Shirley. Yeah, Andre O'Hare. Okay. That one is fucking good.
Yeah, I got
All right,
you.
guys. Let's go ahead and get to learn a little bit more about Lily. So, the original way we connected was through Gamer Subs.
Yeah.
And you got us sponsored here on the Artistry Drop, so we definitely appreciate you. We getting all the free shit and all the dope anime type of stuff. It was really cool. I know you left that behind, obviously, but I do want to know how you got your start with Gamer Subs because they're a cool company, they're a cool brand. So just want to talk about it a little bit.
So it's funny. I was actually I wanted to find a job in social media.
Okay.
I was already doing content creating, but I wasn't really making money off of it. So I was like, let's try to find something in social media.
Yeah.
I was dragging my feet, with applications and stuff.
That's tough.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine and we went out it's near Asbury in New Jersey. But we went out to a bar.
Yeah.
And we ran into these guys and they were like, hey, do you guys want to come take shots with us? And I was like, I don't drink, so I was kind of like, no.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, well, actually, we own an energy drink company, and we're looking to hire. And I was like, wait a second. I will come, not for the shots.
Yeah.
And we just started talking, and then they were like, yeah, we're actually looking for partner reps and that kind of stuff. And then we did an interview, and then I started working for them.
Damn, that's cool. How was your experience, though? Because, they are a cool company, I feel like their aesthetics and everything they're all about is really cool.
Oh, they're awesome.
Yeah.
And I still do partner work for them.
Oh, you do? Okay.
On the side.
Yeah.
But I don't
You're not
my
a
own
full
stuff.
time. Yeah.
I don't do the partner rep stuff anymore. I just don't have the time.
Yeah, for sure.
They make dope stuff like the hoodie that they sent us.
Yeah. The hoodie is
so
fire.
Dope.
Yeah.
The quality is very
It's
thick
really good.
material. It's screen printed really well.
Yeah.
So shout out to Gamersub.
Yeah,
Well, and all the people that work there too are really awesome. My old boss is pretty dope.
That's
Not
dope.
gonna lie.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's crazy how it all started out from you. Literally, it started in a bar.
It's in a bar.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that's crazy to me to connect at a bar because usually you have to reach out to them on email, through social media, but that's so organic how it came about. Yeah.
And usually, those kind of companies will either post like a flyer on Indeed or something like that. So that is just super random.
I know.
Like, yeah, but it all
it was
worked
kind
out
of by
for you.
fate.
Yeah. No, but it all worked out for you, and I it's such a dope company, guys. You remember Gamer Subs? Definitely go check them out. You can actually still use our code. I think it's just Artistry Drop.
Yeah.
So once again, big shout out to Lily for actually hooking us up with Gamer Subs. I remember you telling me you were finally moving out here to LA. This was a while ago. I think this was like 2 years ago or something like that, because you hooked us up with Gamer Subs around that time or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's been a minute, but you did move out here to pursue your content creation full time. Like, was moving out here something that was always in your plans, and how has your experience been here so far?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I always knew I wanted to live in California. Growing up at the Jersey Shore, very similar. You have, the small beach towns, but it's cold there 9 months of the year.
Yeah.
So I always knew I wanted to go somewhere warmer, and California was kind of always the dream.
Okay.
And then social media kind of just made that a little bit more real.
Yeah, for sure. That's almost like us. Like, we're both originally from Seattle. We moved out here together, and I started doing filmmaking and photography all out there, and then started bringing him along with me to shoots and stuff like that. But it's just like over there in Seattle, there's really not much, like you literally have to come out here to the big city to get yourself exposed. Like, social media will obviously help you. When I started posting all the portraits I was doing, my followers grew pretty quick. I didn't expect it. I was like, I love what I was doing, posted, and then people just started following. So I was like, oh, this is pretty dope, like, I think I got to do more of this. And that's kind of what pushed me to get into more photography. I was more on, like, the video side of things, and then that's why I kind of maintained both. But yeah, moving out here was not really the goal. Like, it kind of just was random. But, I went to film school in Seattle, and at that point I was like, you know what, I think now I need to move to LA. So I came out here for like vacation one time and found out about the Los Angeles Film School and enrolled, graduated, and now I'm still here. Loving it out here as well. I've had great experiences. Did it take time for you to kind of adjust to LA life? Because I'm sure it's way different from the East Coast.
Yeah.
It's so different out here in like so many regards.
Yeah.
When I first moved out here, I was kind of in pretty much downtown LA, and then now I'm out on the outskirts.
Yeah.
But when I first came out, it was definitely a shock. I mean,
Culture shock.
I was sheltered growing up. I came from a very small town where it was tourists in the summer, and in the winter you kind of knew everybody.
Yeah.
Like
very
nobody
small
was
then.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But kind of what you were saying too about you have to be out here pretty much if you want to work in social media.
Yeah,
like
For sure.
I was very close to New York City, but you don't have the opportunities in New York City to like go to content houses or networking events. I think now they're starting to do that, but
Right.
they're like 3 years late.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah. I mean, I think
Same with Seattle too.
Yeah, same with Seattle. Like I said, it's I love my hometown. We both love our hometown of Seattle. It's just one of those cities where they're very slow. The entertainment business is definitely starting to blow up over there, but as far as like, social media content creation and, like the film industry and, kind of like what we do with photography and videography is just not as popping in Seattle as it is here.
Yeah.
So I already knew this was the place I needed to be, because the end goal is always for me to get into the film industry. So it eventually happened later on. It took time to get to that point, but I love what I've been doing out here. And LA definitely pushes you as a person. Like, do you feel like since moving out here, it's pushed you a little bit more harder than you were back in New Jersey? Or
yes
are you
and
kind of
no.
the same?
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of the same. I feel like my dreams are kind of changing, and that's okay.
Yeah,
I think over
Always,
time, as you grow, things will change.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, it's been fun, honestly. I feel like I love my hometown, but California is so cool.
Yeah,
like everywhere you go is so different.
Yeah.
Like the scenery, I don't know, you turn around, there's mountains behind you, but then you look the other way and there's an ocean right there. There's also a city, and then you have like small towns 10 minutes away.
Yeah, because I imagine like New Jersey is very cold, and you guys probably don't have that many beaches there.
We do,
you
like
do?
because we're right on the
Oh,
coast.
yeah.
So
Right,
we
right.
do have like the whole shore, but it's cold.
Yeah,
it's cold.
Is it cold like 360 days a year?
No,
or? Okay.
it starts warming up like April. I'd say it starts getting like 60s sometimes.
So that's almost exactly like Seattle. Yeah, because with us, like for us, we're known as a rainy state. It's always raining almost 360 days of the year, except for June through, I want to say, August, September. That's,
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that's the
But it's
days.
still like bipolar. Like
Yeah, it's very
rain
bipolar.
off and on.
Yeah. So you just never know what you're gonna get. But whenever somebody asks me like, when should I go to Seattle, I always recommend the summer. Because once you go,
I always say the same.
Yeah. What is the temperature over there this time of the year?
I was just there on Wednesday and it was 25.
Oh, damn, that's
Okay,
colder. That's colder.
That's almost
cold.
So in Seattle during this time of the year, it's somewhere between like 30 degrees.
30, 40.
It can range from 30 to 40 degrees.
Yeah.
So 25 is fucking cold.
So you guys always have snow over there?
No.
No.
You guys don't get snow?
We do. It kind of comes in waves because, there's random days where it'll be 40. There's a random day where it'll be 60. And then you get to like January and that's when it's a steady 25.
Yeah.
That's when it starts to snow.
Yeah, for sure. You've been out here 2 years?
Year and a half.
Year and a half.
Going on 2, I guess.
Okay,
wow.
I thought it was a little bit longer.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah. So have you experienced any weird shit out here?
Oh my gosh,
we've experienced so much weird things, and it took time to adjust. It's like you'll be like, we see a naked person running around, and we're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, exactly.
It's super weird, super random. So
the other day, I just saw like a guy in a wheelchair, and he was like pushing himself hella fast on the opposite side of traffic.
Oh my god!
And I was just like, yeah.
So what is like some of the weird things you've kind of experienced here, and that you're trying to like still get used to it?
Yeah. I think honestly one of the first ones would be when people are driving. Like it's just so nonchalant to see them smoking a blunt.
Oh, okay.
While driving.
That's true. I've seen that many times.
Yeah. You can't do that.
No,
in Jersey or like anywhere else.
You can't do that. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you can do that in general. But
Right.
there have been plenty of times that I've seen that, and I was like,
or just out in general, like on the sidewalks, people walking by, they're smoking. Out in public.
It's so normal here.
Yeah, it is very normal.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much things like that I'm even still, we've been out here almost 5 years already. And, I'm still trying to adapt to some of the weird shit that I see constantly, like I said, I think the weirdest thing both me and him have ever seen together was like literally just a naked person running, like especially on the side of the freeway. Like that was super random. I was like, no, you don't see that in Seattle.
The weirdest was my friends and I, we were looking out because we're right on like a busy street. So we were looking out the window because we were hearing a lot of commotion. We were like, what's going on? Some lady just decided I don't even know what it was that she picked up, but it had to have been like 6 feet long. I really think it was like a wire cable like cover or something that blew down in a storm. I don't know, but it was laying in the street. She picked it up and started chasing people with it.
Oh no.
I was like gonna whip them.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh. And then the cops came and they arrested her. That was probably one of the weirdest.
And you're just watching it like it was TV, like national news right there out the window.
I was like, that's crazy. Yeah, like crazy. I said, it's still, LA is just one of those cities where it's like you gotta it's gonna take you a lot of time to kind of get used to certain things because like what we always say, LA is a mixing pot. There's so many different people out here, and so many people need to adjust. Because we see a lot of shit that we've never seen back in our hometowns. But you're right. I love LA too. The vibes here are amazing. It's nothing like being back home in Seattle.
It's a love and hate.
It's a love and hate. It is a love and hate, honestly. Like, there's just times I'm like, damn, I wish I was back home.
Especially this guy trying to raise a family. It's like not really a place to
It's not the best place to raise a family. I'm sure.
You gotta go down to like OC for that.
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly. OC would definitely be a great place, but I don't know. Seattle for me I would love to raise my child in Seattle. But we're going to be staying out here. My fiance's originally, she's from here. So it's like, I have no choice. I'm at that point, I have no choice. Going back into you, you do have a huge following on TikTok. You have you have more than 700,000 followers. Is TikTok that platform you give a lot of thanks to for growing your following and brand?
What,
how did you start out with TikTok?
Was it during COVID? Because I feel like
it was during COVID.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
I actually had like 3 different accounts.
Oh.
So before,
like experimenting.
Before it became like a thing, I guess, like around, I guess right before like Charli D'Amelio's blow up, some of my friends, they were like, Lily, you should get on TikTok. Like, you're a dancer. Like, it would be so fun. And I was like, okay. And I would like kind of post some things, but you know, I didn't really know what I was doing.
Yeah,
and then I just kind of gave up.
Yeah.
Deleted the account. And then a couple months later, I was also a dance instructor at the time, and all the kids, this was after Charli D'Amelio's blow up. All the kids were like, Lily, like, come on, you're such a good dancer. Like, just make a TikTok. And so again, I tried, and I was just, it felt so cringy. Like, you grow up a competitive dancer, and you're standing there doing our motions the whole time. It just felt too weird. So I gave up on that account, and then I actually made that one like a little private account. So it's just, I haven't touched it.
Okay.
And then I made this one when we were all really stuck during COVID. It was like March. The minute that it hit, I was stuck at home. I was a dance instructor, so I had 6 days a week that I was originally working. That turned into 1 day a week. So I had 6 days a week that I had nothing to do, and I was living with my parents. So you were still
instructing even during COVID?
Just over Zoom.
Oh,
so they just put everything in 1 day.
Were you already in LA at this time?
Nope, I was still in Jersey. I was living in North Jersey at the time, but then because of COVID, it was like, well, I'll just move back in with my parents. There's not really a point in me being up here.
Yeah, for sure.
So when I was living with them, that's kind of when I started it. And I decided to try the comedy route. And that's actually, I really didn't even start taking my teeth out for probably the first like 2 to 3 months. And then one day I just decided, hey, this is a funny sound. Let's see what happens. I got like 500,000 views. And I was like,
crazy.
Whoa.
So is that kind of where it all started for you? Was like just taking the teeth out, and you just started getting all these views, and this is during COVID, right?
Yeah.
Oh damn, that's fucking crazy. Like I said, you know, like for us, you know, we were stuck here during COVID, obviously, for like that whole year. We were trying to create content on TikTok. We were doing all these stupid like TikTok dances and all, and we didn't go anywhere. Like, you know, I was like, damn, we got to do something like weird and kind of stupid. And even though we still tried it, it's just like the algorithm was not picking it up. You know,
the weirdest and funniest thing that we did was we put his like fiance in a cage, and we had her do like the ocho inside of like
it's a Filipino like dance craze back in the Philippines, and we had her do it in like a cage, which we're like, people like stupid stuff, random stuff. We're like, let's just try this and see what happens. That shit still did not do anything. We're like, what the fuck? Like, you know, so it was still one of those things where like we're still trying to figure out the algorithm and stuff like that. But I've honestly, like, it's not I gave up on TikTok. It's just one of those things where it's like the kind of stuff I do, you know, as far as like photography, videography, it's kind of hard to blow up on TikTok because you already do have some of those people that are like doing the whole behind the scenes photography shoots and stuff like that. But I've uploaded some of those on TikTok, and they'll get some good views, but it's not to the point where it like goes fucking viral. And
and honestly, I mean, all these platforms nowadays are so oversaturated. It's so hard to get views nowadays.
True. Right. Yeah, it's crazy. You are friends with our homie Jack Jerry, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I started shooting with Jack years ago. I think when I first moved out here to LA, 2019. And stuff like that. Like, I know now he's kind of, you know, he was doing his whole modeling thing, and now he's starting to do the dance thing. Have you guys, I don't think you guys have collabed yet on like a dance.
Not on a dance thing. Honestly, we've done like goofy trends, but that's really
You know, I got to reach out to that homie because last time I talked to him was probably last year. I know we were, because we've done a few photo shoots. I haven't actually brought up the point of him coming on the podcast.
We should.
I should probably get him on the podcast too. No, but Jack's a great dude too. So he's been killing it with the dances. I thought you would have hopped on and done some dances with him already.
Honestly, I have a back injury, so there's like I can do like the TikTok dances, but I can't dance the way he used to.
She can do light work. TikTok is like nothing.
For sure. You know, what kind of advice would you actually give to some of the people that are trying to still grow on TikTok? Because I think even for us, I would definitely take that advice in.
Yeah.
Because, I've been staying on Reels. I've been staying on YouTube Shorts. Like, TikTok has just been one of those platforms where, like I mentioned, it's been hard to grow. Yeah. But I would still love to try to grow it because the algorithm is totally different.
It really is. I will say when you're first starting out, I think that from what I've noticed with the algorithm, if you're brand new, one of your first videos is going to blow up. And then you're going to have a while before the next one blows up, especially if you're consistent. It's just the way that it works.
Yeah.
It wants you to keep coming back to the app, so it's going to do that. But, consistency is key. Like posting every day. Currently, I'm only really posting 1 to 2 times a day because they're so oversaturated, and I'm not trying to start from the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm trying to maintain a following, but when you are starting from the beginning, you really want to be posting 3 to 5 times a day.
That's crazy.
Damn, that is crazy.
I've heard that. I did hear that. I did hear, it's especially for TikTok, you do got to post that many times a day. Like, damn. So, do you typically post at all? Because when I was, you don't. See, that's the hardest thing because literally, that's what I was doing was, if I see a post, get, 10, 15,000 views, I'll repost it maybe a couple days later and hopefully, it would build up views.
Yeah.
And, I was watching so many YouTube tutorials and stuff like that and they were recommending it, but sometimes it's a flop, sometimes it works.
There was a time where, you could repost almost all of your videos and they would do really well.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I want to say it was summer of 2020 into going into 2021, that time frame.
We were on it.
Yeah. I think that was when, because I remember there were a couple times where I actually did do some reposts, but since then I've avoided it.
Yeah. It's changed with Reels.
Yeah,
TikTok
for sure.
has changed,
Yeah.
After Reels came out.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that nowadays too, it's really about staying on top of the trends. And
Right. For
sure.
Yesterday I decided to take a mental health break, from my phone, and I didn't post.
Yeah.
Didn't even look at the app. I went on today, whole new trend. I was
Really?
like, this didn't exist Wednesday.
What was the new trend?
Oh gosh, what was it?
So many.
Yeah, there
know,
are so many.
I'm trying to remember because there were 3 that I saw, and I was like,
Jeez.
what are these?
Is it a sound trend?
Yeah, it was something stupid. It was the caption's boy math or something.
Boy math?
But then the sound is the guy saying I love you and I want to be with you forever and you're the most perfect girl, but I think I'm gonna find someone better.
Yeah,
and I was like, that sound I don't even think existed on Wednesday. So I don't know when.
You just never know. I feel like there's just so many things that randomly pop off and you really do have to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And hopefully you pop off as well. Because that is one thing I noticed is once a trend is trending, you have to hop on it. Otherwise you kind of if you wait a couple weeks and hop on it eventually, you kind of lose it.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
It depends too. I think that the biggest thing that's helped me is having a niche. If you don't have a niche, 9 times out of 10 you're not going to get picked up by the platform. So if you do post a trend later but you have a niche, sometimes that's okay. Sometimes they find a way to make it work.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
I hate to put you on the spot, but
okay.
This is something how you blew up. Can you take your teeth out for us? Yeah. Can you show our fans? There you go, guys. The infamous toothless Lily right there, guys. Yes. That is crazy though. I love watching the videos, especially when you go to bars and you show these.
I need to go do some more of those.
It's hilarious.
It's crazy. Yeah, we just want to know how did that actually start? Yeah. What's the story behind your teeth?
So when I was 13. I got into a longboarding accident with my friend. It was very dumb. We were tandem skating, so 2 people on the board. It was a board not made for tandem skating. Luckily, I was wearing a helmet. And I don't know what happened. I don't know if we hit a rock or what. Next thing I knew, my face was in the street. And I had braces at the time, so my braces actually saved my teeth. But then a couple years later, I started having some issues, so this tooth is actually an implant.
Okay.
That was the first one to go. And basically, I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but basically when you have a trauma to your face, especially in the teeth area, you can develop issues later on in life. And that was kind of what happened. So that one came out first, and then the other two came out after. And when those two came out, there was way too much damage to my palate for them to be able to do implants right away. And now I can't afford implants at the moment. So.
I'm sure that shit is fucking expensive.
But you use that to your advantage, and then look at you now. You're blowing up because of your teeth.
Yeah, for sure.
So you turn a negative into a positive.
For sure.
And you know what's really funny actually is before I really started posting about my teeth, I had actually just found out that I couldn't get implants right away, and I was devastated because I was super insecure about my teeth. I actually had a different mouthpiece at the time, so my teeth didn't really look that natural either. So I was just kind of at a loss, and I was crying when I was driving. And then I started thinking about it, and I was like, how can I turn this negative into a positive?
Yeah.
I was literally like word for word what I thought. And then I was like, you know what? I can't be the only person feeling this way.
Exactly.
Like, there's got to be other people out there feeling this way.
Right.
Yeah. So. Hey, they look beautiful now.
Yeah. And speaking about, your videos and your teeth, I saw a few videos about like going on scary dates with your teeth. I watched a YouTube video when you were on the Truly channel, and you purposely didn't tell your date that you had, missing teeth. And you just popped it out while you were eating. Is that something you normally do when you're on a date to test their reaction? And like, what has been like your worst experience?
Honestly, I can't get away with it because anytime I'm gonna go on a date with somebody, I want to make sure they're real, right? So usually you're following each other on social media by then.
For sure.
Oh, right.
Yeah, for
right.
sure.
So I don't really. They already know.
So they kind of already know. For sure.
Yeah.
So that was a crazy reaction though. That was funny that you just popped it out and was like, yo. And I see a lot of reaction videos that you post about like, you just going up to random people at a party and you just pop it out.
Yeah.
Has there been any like negativity behind it?
Honestly, every time I've done it, like on camera, and maybe it's because we're on camera, I haven't gotten something super. I've gotten super negative things before from people in the past, but that was also before social media for me. I think a lot of people maybe don't want to be talked about on my page, so avoid saying certain things to me now.
No, I can see that. Yeah, and then, going about your teeth a little bit deeper too, it's become a iconic part of you, like in all your platforms. You even have a podcast called Only Teeth, where you talk about, embracing your insecurities and flaws and, inspiring others to grow and love themselves. At what point did you realize your teeth was like a symbol of like hope and would save others from like the negativity of the world of social media?
So in November of 2020, I think it was.
So almost still during COVID, kind of.
Yeah, still during COVID. I posted a video, just something silly, like about me taking my teeth out on a date. And by this point, I really hadn't gone on any dates after I lost my teeth because this all happened during COVID.
Yeah.
So these were all more like fears and insecurities. Nothing was really real.
Right.
So when I made this skit, it just was kind of like my own fears. And the amount of comments I got from people saying like, oh my gosh, this just made me feel so much better about my teeth, or wow, I have the same thing as you, like kind of made me realize like I actually can make an impact and make people laugh. Like my whole thing is I cope with humor.
Yeah.
So I hope that my coping can help others.
Yeah, and it did.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah. I mean, even for me, like humor is just one of those things where it literally soothes a person. I feel like you have to be soothed by humor. One thing too, I'm gonna call out my dad real quick because my dad. Shout out to my dad. He actually, all his teeth are gone.
Oh my gosh.
So he has all, like...
What? I didn't know that.
He's never shown me.
I never knew that. I've known his dad for so long.
Yeah, he's known my dad for so long, but he's not the type to kind of do what Lily does, where but my dad's, all his teeth are gone and they're all fake. So he has all, like the top and bottom are, what do you typically call them?
Dentures. If it's full, it's dentures. This is technically a partial.
Okay, yeah. So he has like a full dentures, top and bottom.
Oh wow.
From what he told me, it was just as a kid he ate so much sugar, not brushing teeth, so his teeth got rotten pretty much. So I remember just growing up as a kid, he would literally he'll be eating and then all of a sudden he'll be like, and then his teeth pop out. I'm like, whoa, what the hell? It was crazy to me, seeing like something like that, but it was hilarious, and of course, your parents, like if they have a sense of humor like that and they can do that, like he feels comfortable with himself. Yeah. I should have told him to actually do that for you.
Yeah, that would have been scary. I would be like, yo, what's going on? How did he lose his teeth?
No, that's what he said. So pretty much, as far as I know, he told me as growing up as a kid, he just ate so much sugar because my dad's Filipino. I'm half Filipino, so in the Philippines, it was just one of those things where, you know, you don't really care too much, I guess, you know. So just eating a lot of sugar, a lot of rice that has sugar, and stuff like that. And his teeth got rotten, and pretty much he needed all new dentures, top and bottom. And he just got a whole new set. I don't know if you've noticed his smile.
No.
But it looks, I'm trying to still get used to it.
It looks good?
Yeah, it looks really good. It's super white, super clean, but I'm still trying to get used to it because I've never seen his teeth like that. So sometimes when I look at him smile, I'm like, this is really weird.
This is really weird.
It's really weird.
It's too white.
Yeah. No, it's because it's a whole new denture setup. You know, they changed the whole. Because actually, what he told me was they had to pull a couple remaining tooth, so they had to change everything. Yeah. So I was like, when I first saw him with it, I was like, this is fucking weird. Like I can't get used to it. You know. Yeah. But he has that sense of humor too, where it's like, kind of like what you do. You just kind of have your teeth pop out at random times and stuff like that. And it's funny. It's hilarious. You know, sense of humor is what everybody needs today.
Right.
You know.
Right. And people grow to love it too. And, you know, it's become a part of you now. And I'm so glad you actually, you know, came out of that. And you have a lot of people who also are going through the same thing. So now it's like a superpower.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Dope. Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, going back into you know, you mentioned a little bit before, you know, you also are a dancer and you used to teach professionally as well. I'm a dancer as well. I used to compete and battle, and you know, I was more of like the freestyle of part of dancing, and you know, I used to judge and things like that as well. So I'm curious to know like what style of dance you did, and like have you ever entered a battle before?
So I've never done a battle. Okay. Growing up, I did competitions for my dance studio.
Okay.
I did like pretty much all of it though. I did ballet, tap, jazz, lyrical, modern, hip hop.
Mm-hmm. Everything.
Everything. Yeah. I wouldn't say I was great at all of it. You know, I think ballet is definitely the backbone of dance. That's always what we were taught. I was never great at ballet. So I would say, I think my favorite though was I don't know. I bounce, you know, I love like lyrical contemporary, that kind of vibe, but I also really love hip hop.
Yeah, I love like contemporary like hip hop. I think that's like the sweet spot like for me, yeah. So what do you like normally teach when you do teach?
I was teaching it all.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yeah, because I was teaching kids pretty much ages. Some of them were like 2.
Okay.
Damn, that's young.
2 through like, I'd say like 14.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. I used to teach as well, like maybe like 3 to like 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kids. But they have such short like attention spans that you have to like, I don't know, for me I felt like kind of like daycare. Like I had to do something fun and then go back into the choreo, you know. So you got to keep them like entertained and you know, things like that.
The cool thing about it was when I was a dance instructor, it was during it was like a little before COVID, and it was when TikTok was really popping off. So I really just incorporated a lot of TikTok moves. The kids loved it.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's dope. You know, scrolling through your IG, it does look like you have been modeling for quite a minute. I think around 2017 or something like that. What got you into modeling originally, and are you currently part of an agency, or are you still kind of doing the whole modeling thing? Because I know you're really popping off with all the content creation and TikToks and stuff.
Yeah, so backstory, my mom was a Ford model back in the day. That's dope. So growing up, I always looked at her pictures, and I was always like, I want to be a model. That's cool, I want to be just like you. Dope. And she wanted me to go the college route, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
So I wound up studying politics, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So very different field.
Yeah, different field, yeah, for sure.
But I decided I didn't really want to go that route right away. I wanted to focus on like following dreams and just seeing where that took me first. And I started freelance modeling pretty much 2017. I had a couple friends that were photographers and just started going that route. And then in 2020, I got my own camera, learned it by myself, and so pretty much most of those pictures you see now I took myself.
Wait, so did you just set up a tripod and you really?
So my Canon has a Bluetooth that you can connect to your phone, and then you can adjust all the settings on your phone.
Damn. Okay.
Crazy. And That's crazy. I think you're probably the first model I've ever known that has actually taken their own photos. Yeah. So would you just bring out your own tripod, press a timer button and just pose, or?
I set it up so it is a timer. It counts down, but I set it up so it takes 8 photos in a row. Yeah. So I'm like moving around in that time frame, trying to get different shots. But yeah, usually with the tripod and stuff, and then tend to like I had an issue one time where I was shooting at the beach and a wave came up and my phone was on the ground next to me because I was using it and then I just throw it down real quick. Took my phone. I caught it, and luckily my phone did not die. That's with the amount of water that was in that phone. I was shocked. Sure. But that's the one downfall to trying to take your own pictures.
You know what? Big props to you, because I've actually, like I said, I've never known a model that is kind of taking their own pictures. And based off the photos I had seen, I literally thought they were all taken by a photographer.
Nah, I would tag the photographer.
Okay. So you tag yourself?
Yeah. No, I just posted it.
No, but essentially because you were taking photos of yourself, right? Yeah, and you posted those pretty much too, right? Yeah. So technically, it's her. Yeah. How many photographers did you actually work with, like, during that time then?
Like back in 2017.
Yeah, when you first started. Well, when did you start working with photographers before you started started taking your own stuff?
Yeah, so that was back in 2017 when I started working with them. I think there were about 3 or 4 different photographers I was working with. And then 2020, it was funny because it was actually right before COVID that I got the camera. I got it for Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Started learning it. I really didn't even know how to work manual until, I'm going to be honest, beginning of 2021.
I mean, that's
it took me a minute.
Damn, you're doing manual too by yourself?
Manual's tough. A lot of people do auto.
Yeah. Especially by yourself.
But I'm not going to lie, I was doing auto for a while.
And that's fine.
It was bothersome, though, because I felt like there were a lot of moments where the lighting just wasn't what I wanted.
Of course,
So did you throw it in Lightroom or anything? Did you edit your photos?
I honestly didn't start learning how to edit until a couple months ago.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
So what are you editing
So I wasn't
right
even
now?
editing. Now I'm in Lightroom.
You're in Lightroom? Okay, yeah. I mean, that is the best program to edit portraits in.
Yeah.
So you were pretty much just taking the photos and
posting it.
Yeah. I mean, they look great though.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you just had your exposure and all your settings on the camera proper.
Yeah.
Because majority of the time, were you shooting in JPEG or RAW?
I think now it's RAW, because when I was working for Gamer Subs, they needed
raw photos so they can edit and everything, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So when you were shooting the photos yourself, they were in JPEG? Would you say?
I think they were probably in the beginning,
yeah. They still look great though.
Yeah.
Like I said, I literally thought they were taken by a photographer or something like that.
Well,
so
thank you.
Hey, big props to you. Big props to you.
When you were when you shoot by yourself, is it because of preference? Like you didn't like how the photographers took your photo, or was it because of like convenience of like working with other people? Okay, that's
a lot of that had to, because the whole reason I got the camera was it was just very difficult to try to set up shoots and try to do them consistently. Now I feel like I can do it whenever I want.
Right.
Yeah.
You're your own photographer, especially with manual. Yeah.
Well, so are you still currently doing shoots kind of by yourself when you need to? That's dope.
Yeah,
that's cool. I think I think that's what a lot of people should actually do, because I feel like, especially out here in LA, a lot of models kind of wait for a photographer to shoot for them. But that's a whole different look and outlook on it. Like, I feel like some models just don't do that. It's literally just based all on photographers. They wait for the photographers to actually shoot the photos on them. That should change. Like, I mean, you're kind of changing the game, because
if you enjoy taking pictures too,
for sure. But I feel like in general, I feel like a lot of models don't take their own photos. If anything, it's all on a phone nowadays. You just set up a phone tripod, pop it on there. Nobody's really using a professional camera and taking their own photos. Because like I said, if you didn't tell us, it was all, I would have thought it was a photographer that took your photos. So hey, big props to you learning the camera and editing in Lightroom. That's dope. Big props to you.
That is dope. So you being a model, did you ever find it difficult to overcome your insecurities and find confidence in front of a camera, especially with your teeth and before it started blowing up and stuff like that?
Yeah. I think when I first kind of started getting into modeling, I had worked with a couple photographers that I think expected me to know what to do. And I kind of went with it. I was like, okay, I know what I'm doing. And then I would look at the pictures and I'd be like, I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea what's going on. And then one of my friends, actually, she's a big reason I got into it. And she wound up kind of showing me, you know, different angles. And I was like, okay. And I started getting the hang of it. And then that's kind of when I started becoming a little bit more secure within it, because then I figured out what I liked. I think that's what's really important is after that experience, I started practicing in the mirror. And I know that sounds really weird.
No, it doesn't. It's totally normal, I feel like,
but
as a model.
If you can look in the mirror and say, okay, I like this angle, like, okay, I don't like this angle. Try to figure out what you like. But at the end of the day, when it does come to modeling, it's not even what you like. It's got to be what the people who are paying for this to be done, what they like, right? So as long as you can naturally move and figure out what angles look good for you, they'll find a picture that works for them. You know?
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's really not weird because of course I got a lot of model homies that have talked about this too. You know, like literally sometimes they'll just look in the mirror, practice, especially when you're to that point where you become a professional model. It is just one of those things where you have to practice up and you know, get those angles right. You know, for me, when I started photography back in 2013-ish or something, I had no idea what the hell I was doing with photography. I kind of expected the model to kind of know what they're doing. But, you know, once you get used to it, you know, I came up with my own style. You know, you know, my editing style, my kind of posing style, how I shoot. And that's how I know how to guide a model nowadays, you know. And I know for sure, like, any upcoming photographer kind of struggles with that and don't really know how to direct a model or anything like that. And
because what looks good for a photographer might not be the angle that the model, you know, also agrees on. You know, talking to them, directing them, and showing them the pictures in the midst of it, and then adjusting it. So you guys come up to a middle ground is like essential. You know,
I think key in general is like making a relationship with the model, because there's been so many times I have so many model friends that I've shot with plenty of times, so they already know how I shoot. Like, you know, I'll be like, what do you think of this? I already know you're doing good. I'm like, okay, cool. You know, I don't really need to show them the photos because they kind of already have that sense of style of how I shoot. They're good with me and stuff like that. But of course, I think it's definitely always important to kind of give a model a look at what they're gonna receive.
I agree.
You know,
with that.
have you kind of experienced where it's like you just go and shoot, you receive the photos, you're like, damn, this is actually shit. Have you ever experienced that?
That's why she shoots by herself.
I have had those experiences.
Is that kind of a reason why you shoot by yourself?
It is, and I think the biggest thing for me is like I like to play around with angles. But I also like to look at it first and then say, okay, I didn't like that angle. Let's try a different one, you know, rather than just going with it. And then you go back and you're like, oh, well, maybe we should have tried a different angle.
Yeah, for sure.
So I agree. I think the model should definitely at least get to see some of them. At least get to see
a little hint of
an idea.
How many, just a question, because since you have worked with photographers and stuff like that, how many photos do the photographers typically come out with? Because when I go on shoot, my shoots typically last 45 minutes to an hour, but I come out with like 700 to 1,000 photos, you know, like just because I get multiple angles, I'm like, so it's like I get hella photos. So typically, how many would the photographers you work with come out with?
When I get pictures back, I want to say it depends on the photographer, honestly, because I've had photographers where I got like 15 pictures back, and I've had other photographers where I got like 300 back. For me personally, when I take pictures, I mean, in an hour I'm taking at least 500 pictures, and then from there I do like a good rundown of, okay, which ones do I like, and it usually ends up being like about 100 that I like, you know, like I'm like, because they're all different angles.
For sure. Yeah, I think that's the one thing that comes to, when it comes to selects, it's difficult, because that's why you know, both of us as photographers, you know, we try to get multiple angles, different shots, and then what we'll typically do is, you know, like I'll edit what I feel like is the best shots. And if the model's like, do you have this angle? Yeah, sure, let me go edit it, pop it in, boom, you're good. So that's why, like, I'd rather come out with 1,000 photos versus like 15 photos and they're like, do you have this shot? No. Well, fuck, I'm not gonna work with you. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's just how it is.
It's better to have more.
Yeah, it's better. Photographers, it's better to have more for sure. Yeah, for sure. There are so many content creators out there that have that are niche specific, such as dancers only creating dance content, foodies doing only foodie content. But you as a creator yourself, do you think it's only best to stick to a specific niche, or is it worth going out of your way and trying to different niches?
I think it kind of depends. I mean, if you can find a niche that still kind of works within yours. So, for example, I've already posted dancing content on my Instagram, like way before I was using social media for what I use it for now. So I think that Instagram already kind of knows that dance is also a niche on my page. And I think that's why, because when I post Instagram dance video, I post dance videos on Instagram, those ones actually do pretty well. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should switch it up. But then I also remind myself, oh, I have a back injury, I should probably not be dancing too much.
For sure.
But I think that it kind of just depends. I mean, sometimes your best bet is to be relatable as possible. That's kind of goal one. So if you are looking to switch your niche, find something that you find super relatable that can still kind of almost fit into that old niche and try to do like a pivot, like a slow pivot, you know? Because if you just switch it right off the bat, the algorithm's not going to pick it up.
Yeah, for sure.
That makes sense.
Have you done a huge pivot just yet? Like as far as like content creation?
I think I am at a point right now where I want to start to pivot and I have some ideas. I do think that the teeth are still going to be incorporated.
For sure. Yeah.
But I do feel like right now I'm just kind of in a spot where trends aren't really matching what I want to create.
Okay.
I think a lot of trends right now are all about being toxic. And as funny and relatable as that is, I just feel like I'm past that point in my life. So I don't really want to partake in those trends.
So what's the pivot for you? Where are you gonna be going next?
She's keeping that on the phone.
I was surprised. Okay. I was like, she didn't say it. Okay. Well, you guys gotta follow her to see what's up next.
Definitely follow her. You guys are gonna see what's next. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think, with you already had a niche. You still have a niche. You're one of the first people I know that just pop their teeth out. And,
the only people.
Yeah.
The only person
you probably are the only person that we know.
Besides his dad.
Yeah, now I might have to have my dad
I know.
Do that just for content.
For real,
Pops, just pop your teeth out. But,
throw it in the pod episode real quick.
Exactly.
I know, right? Exactly. No, but it's dope. You have your own thing going for you, Sorry, guys.
Damn, you're old.
You do have your own thing. Like, there are so many people I feel like out there that are creating content that just don't have their own thing. It's literally just copy and paste. Everybody's doing the same old thing. Everybody's doing the dance thing. Everybody's doing all the trends.
Even with the voice, like the lip sync trends, everybody's doing the same exact captions as what they saw the video that blew up. And it's like... For me, I try to always find a way to make those trends match my niche. But it's hard sometimes.
For sure.
Sometimes I feel like I'm stretching, and I'm like, this might be overkill.
I don't want to say like your whole teeth issue is a blessing, but it kind of is, because you have your own thing. Like nobody else out there really has like.
It's unique.
It's unique. Nobody.
I've seen a couple people.
Really? You're probably the only one I've seen actually.
I probably only get it on my page because I'm taking my teeth.
That's what. For sure. No, the algorithm for sure. But it is kind of a blessing that you're actually getting all these viewers coming in for your specific content. So you are able to kind of take trends and all that and revolve it around your content, even though kind of like what you mentioned, it is kind of tough, but it's unique. People are still there watching. I feel like I said, you know, people out here nowadays are copy and paste. You just have your own thing going for you, and you know, big congrats to you.
Yes.
Thank
you know,
you.
taking a positive, you know, taking a negative to a positive, and you know, turning it into content that people actually love and you know can laugh about. And you know, I'm so glad that you actually laugh about it yourself, because you know, I think there are so many people out there that definitely are so insecure. You know, they definitely wouldn't do what you do.
I mean, I think the best way to look at it too is like, life happens to everybody, but you have to be the one to say, how can I take this and make my life better?
For sure.
You know, like, we're all going through different experiences and they're all going to shape us in different ways. But if we let them shape us for the worse, we're letting that happen.
Sure.
Take accountability for that, right? Say, okay, wait, this experience sucked, but how can I make it turn me into a better person?
Yeah. Love that. That was
a good inspiration.
Hey, we gotta give you some inspiration. Claps right there. Let's go.
We had Donovan on the last
one of
episode.
our good friends, Donovan.
Yeah, and he mentioned how like the struggle, once you overcome the struggle, that's really gonna take you to the next level in life.
Yeah.
And I really believe that correlates to everybody, because we all struggle in different ways, but also like, once we pass that struggle, it all shapes us in a unique way and makes us stronger at the end of the day. So I really vibe with that for sure.
Yeah, big props to you, Lily. You know, we are coming to the end of the podcast, and you know, we created Artistry Drop for all artists to come on here and be inspirational to the next generation. So we want to know, what advice would you give to someone trying to become the next big content creator?
I think that the most important thing is to just stay true to yourself. I've met a lot of people out here that, I mean, I don't know what they were like before being an influencer, but I can tell you they're not being true to themselves. So I think that wherever you go in life, just stay grounded, stay humble, and remember where you came from.
For sure. You know, one thing I definitely talk about all the time is, you know, we live in a city where it's so big with different people fighting over the same thing, different facades. You know, there's so many facades out here, people kind of being fake and all that. Like, would you kind of agree with that? Like, kind of what you said, you know, like, there's so many people out here, you know, trying to do the same thing, but they might, you know, they're plastic. They might use you for a specific thing, and you know, use you for your followers or something like that.
People aren't very transparent about it either. Facts, you know, I mean, what we're doing right now, this is technically networking.
For sure, of course.
You know, that's normal. You're going to find that out here. Yeah. But if someone said to me, like, let's be friends and hang out, and then 3 months later I find out, oh, it was just to get me on their podcast, you know, then it's a little different. Whereas you kind of have to set those boundaries from the beginning. Like, okay, this is a work friendship. This is a work relationship versus, no, I want to be your best friend.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, and like I said, you know, that's what it literally is. Hey, I'm not saying that's what we're doing here. We're not doing that here.
We have a great work relationship.
We have a great work. You know, like I said, big shout out to Lily, first of all, because she kind of started this all for us. Like, you know, Gamer Subs, and that's what connected me to you. So, you know, I appreciate you for sure. But, you know, living out here in LA for a minute, you do kind of see the downside, and kind of like what we're talking about. You know, like, there's just so much downfall in LA's people using you and stuff like that, you know, and it's just something I guess you kind of get a sense of, and you try to avoid as well.
You start to learn, and the nice thing is, wherever there is a negative person, sometimes there is a positive one right around the corner. Exactly, like, I do feel like I've really met some really great people out here. I mean, my roommate and I are day ones now. You know, we've only known each other for a year, and we're so close, and she's never once made me feel. If anything, she's actually pointed some people out to me. Like, hey, I don't know if that person is being transparent with you.
No, that's dope. Sure. That's one thing that we talked about before moving out here. You know, we needed to stay grounded and like who we are. Because we could definitely get lost, like, in LA, you know, on the views, on the fame, on the party life.
So it's good to have a support system.
Exactly, and hold each other accountable as well. And that's why we keep our circle, like, really small. Yeah. Because, you know.
I'm learning that.
Exactly. And I really think, like, being in LA makes you a stronger person because of that. There's so many different type of people wanting to use you or, like, you know, gain something out of you, you know, so it's dope to, like, have a small circle to hold you accountable, and along the way you meet good people.
Yeah.
You know, when you give off that vibe.
Question for you. Have you met other people that are from New Jersey?
I have, actually.
Okay.
Jack's,
Jack is from New York, isn't he? Or
no, he's like from Illinois.
Illinois. Okay, because I know he's from like the Midwest or East Coast or something like that. No, I'm only asking you because literally a lot of the people we hang out with are from Seattle.
Oh,
so
wow.
like, you know, a lot of our friends that are, you know, I've already befriended in Seattle before moving down here, now live down here. So, you know, there are a lot of the people we typically hang out with. But of course, you know, just living here in general, you meet so many people, and I've befriended so many people, you know. But it's cool having that group of friends where it's like, you grew up in the same city.
Yeah.
You kind of know the same kind of things. Those are the people you connect with.
Yeah.
So it's just a question, you know, seeing if you've actually connected with people like from New Jersey yet. And
so when I first came out here, I actually had friends from Jersey that already lived out here. So I've like connected with them a couple times. They're awesome. They're just kind of far. Like, I feel like now, you know, after moving out of downtown LA, it's just kind of made things a little bit more difficult. I do feel like my life is more in OC.
Yeah, for sure.
So I really only come up to LA for like work events.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I agree. You know, like for all our viewers that are listening, you guys know I moved to Long Beach with Rachel and stuff like that. So, you know, I haven't been to LA in quite a minute. You know, I work out in City of Industry, which is still far from Long Beach.
Yeah.
But, you know, I do come out here when we do the podcast and stuff like that. And it's just one of those things, you know, I've always asked myself too, like, you know, I have some friends in OC and they're like, yeah, I never come out to LA and stuff. I was like, why?
It's the traffic.
Yeah, it's the traffic. And now I'm learning that, you know, since I live in Long Beach now, it's like, it's just one of those things you kind of come accustomed to. Long Beach has everything you need there. So I really don't see any need to come out here to LA unless it is for work.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, obviously this, or I'm doing shoots and stuff like that. So when we first moved out here to LA, it was one of those things like, we got to be in fucking LA.
Yeah.
Like, you can't live anywhere else. You got to live in LA.
Right.
You know, but after, I think, our first year or two, especially after COVID, we're like, you don't need to live in LA. You can live in fucking Burbank. You can live in Glendale. You can live in Santa Monica, Venice, like Long Beach or whatever. You're still kind of in...
You're close enough.
Especially
if you don't have to be in downtown LA every single day.
For sure,
you know?
for sure. Like I said, I think it's something for us that are not familiar with the LA County area. We just thought we needed to live here.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And,
exactly.
you know, once you live here for a while, it's like, no, you can live somewhere else and still get here within like 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Even though it's like, hey, Long Beach to here is like 20 miles away and it takes like an hour.
It does.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you know, so it is what it is. And, you know, like I said, it's still dope kind of hearing stories from other people that come out here moving the same situation as us. You know, we came from a different state, kind of achieving the same goal, and you know, it's really cool hearing stories like that.
It's always exciting.
Yeah,
too,
for sure. You know, where on social media can our viewers find you?
Let's see. You have TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, YouTube.
Everywhere.
I think that's it.
And it's Lily Magno on everything pretty much, right?
Yeah, I think the only one that's different is my Snap, because that one was my like OG Snap. So it's the same username, just drop the second Y.
Okay. And of course, we're going to put Lily's everything in the description box below, guys. But Lily, thank you so much for coming on the Artistry Drop. Finally, we got you here on the show. I definitely appreciate you coming on. This was a great talk.
Yeah.
You know, getting to know you a little bit more. But guys, we hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, it's Artistry Drop. If you're not following us on Instagram, you can find us at the Artistry Drop. And if you prefer just listening, you can stream all our episodes on all major podcast platforms. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.